want to thank you guys for taking this journey with me. You know, building a profitable project is a complex task. There isn't one simple thing that you can do to make sure that you have a successful project. I learned a long time ago that it takes getting a lot of things right in order to have a profitable project. And I hope that you understand that I've handed you a complete system that, you know, if you use and utilize in its entirety, works to produce consistent, profitable results. And I tried very hard to look at all of the things I had to get right on my project and incorporate them not only into the system, but into the software as well. And in order to succeed, you really have to drive the information on the project down to the lowest worker on the site. Those people are the ones who are going to make you or break you, and they need to know exactly what's required of them in order to deliver you a successful project. And the most important part of making that happen is the pre-construction phase. Now, some companies these days do have pre-construction managers who prepare the project for construction, but I haven't personally seen a lot of them. And so your company may or may not have a pre-construction manager, and if they don't, then that duty may fall on your shoulders. And as far as I'm concerned, pre-construction starts with a very detailed task-integrated estimate. And I don't care how your company bids their projects. I understand that, you know, estimating and winning projects is a numbers game, and that you have to get a lot of bids out fast in order to capture your, 10% or whatever your get rate is. But once that project is won, then someone needs to make a very detailed task-integrated estimate to capture not only the labor by task, but also the material by task, because there are huge benefits to doing that. And so I'd like to just take a minute and kind of go over that process and just kind of, solidify it in your mind one more time. Okay, so this task integrated estimate, this is something that I kind of put together probably 30 years ago when I was looking for a way to assign a detailed tasks to my crew members with accurate time frames on them. And I think it's probably the fairest way to do that. And in about 2012, I actually started a construction management business so that I could chase different types of projects and test this process on them. So since that time, I've built task integrated estimates for commercial projects, industrial projects, maintenance projects on portions of maintenance work, and a lot of solar projects. And so it's not that difficult once you understand the process, but basically all you need to do is decide what tasks your employees are going to perform in order to complete the project, and then just do a takeoff task by task through that order. I've done a lot of that, so if you need any help with that, you come up against a project and you're wondering how to format it, I'm available to you. You can reach me through my website. Just shoot me an email. I generally respond pretty quickly. Sometimes I do get busy, but happy to help you sort that out. But that is the starting point. That's where you capture all the information that enables you to manage your project profitably and efficiently. And once you put that task integrated estimate together, the next thing you need to do is assemble your team. And everybody needs to look at that and go through that with you. So you can either bring them into the office or you can have a web meeting. I've done this, through web meetings for people all over the country. But basically the people that you want to have there is going to be probably your purchasing person, whoever's purchasing the material, the project manager, whoever's going to manage that project at a site level, whether you call them a foreman or a superintendent or whatever, you're going to want them there as well. And the person who compiled the estimate. So everybody needs a set of drawings in front of them, or you can have them on your screen, of course. And you take a look at each task, and then you walk through that portion of the estimate. Now, this usually goes pretty quickly because there's a lot of repetitive tasks on a project, and you don't have to cover every single task. You just need to cover one task for every sequence of tasks, if you know what I mean. And what you're looking for there is, you want people to weigh in on the best material to use cost-wise. And also you want people to weigh in on the best material to use labor-wise. Okay, because labor costs money too, and it doesn't make any sense to save money on material if you're going to lose all of that money back on labor. So you need to strike a balance there, and that's why you need the guy in the field also on the call. You need his input, or her input. Another reason you need their input is because if you send material out there that they don't like using, they're going to order different material and send your material back to the office, and that's just a big waste of money as well. Okay, so you want your entire team to weigh in on this thing. You take one task out of every series of tasks, you go through it, you discuss it, you pick the best, material from a cost standpoint and from a labor standpoint. Everybody needs to buy in on it. You all agree. And then you roll on to the next task in the next series of tasks. And you go through this and you fine tune it. And a lot of that involves, basically what you're doing is value engineering those drawings. You're coming up with a way to build it from a labor and material cost standpoint, okay? And so once that process is complete and everybody's happy, then you can put that material list out for quote with your suppliers. And you may end up using several suppliers. Let's say we're working on a commercial project. We're going to take the pipe and wire, have someone quote that package, and someone's going to quote the lighting. Someone's going to be selected for the switch gear. But whichever suppliers you choose, you need to let them know, hey, we're going to award this project to you. We're going to award this portion of the material for this project to you. However, we need you to understand that, if any revisions in the drawings come along, or if we get out on site and encounter any site-specific conditions that are going to require additional or different material, we want you to guarantee us the same pricing for those materials. We're not going to pay a premium because we changed our package. This is, the markup that you're going to charge us through the entire project for all the materials in this classification, whether it's pipe and wire, light fixtures, switch gear. Light fixtures and switch gear are a little bit more difficult because they're dealing with a manufacturer, but normally if you negotiate up front, you can get that type of agreement out of them. But the bulk material for the project is the big challenge. Okay, because as your crews encounter problems, or they could even encounter some missing material because no one is perfect in their takeoff as hard as you try. You don't want to have to put that material out for quote against 7 companies and wait for all of that pricing to come in and then try to make a decision on it. Because while you're doing that, it's going to cause turmoil in your schedule. Those people are going to have to stop working on the tasks that they're working on in sequence. Are going to have to delay those tasks until that material comes in. So the quicker you can get it there on site, the smoother that project's going to run. And when you start getting turmoil in your schedule, I guarantee you can associate that with loss of money, because every time you break that flow, you lose a little money. So you want to keep the flow as smooth as possible. That means you want to get that material there as quick as possible. And if you can eliminate that quoting process and waiting for quotes to come in, because these suppliers, when you're giving them onesie twosies, that's not the biggest part of their day. They're out trying to bid large projects, and then you want a little bit of material and you got to get pricing on it. And they all know that you're prostituting it across 7 different suppliers, and they really don't care if they get that order or not, because they're going for a big one. So the pricing's not going to be that good, even from the best of them, probably, to my experience. So if you can negotiate that pricing up front and just deal with one supplier through the project and just call them and say, here's what we need, and have them ship it out, and then just verify that their pricing is equal to their overall quote, you're going to keep your project moving a lot smoother. It's very, very important to do that. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is take that data, and we're going to import it into the software that I gave you access to. Once it comes into the system, then we're going to build our work breakdown structure. So basically, we're going to assemble those phases of construction and the tasks within them in the order that we plan to build the project, right? To create a work breakdown structure. And once that part's complete, then we can open up our Gantt chart. Now, the Gantt chart will have everything listed in there in the proper work sequence. And we're going to go through that, and we're going to look for any pre-task checklist items that we need to monitor as the project unfolds. And what I'm talking about here are things like material deliveries, equipment deliveries, special tools, subcontracts that have to be issued, subcontractor mobilizations, and inspections, things like that. We're going to make a list of all of those that we need to include in there. And after that, we're going to go back into the task list. We're going to enter all of these pre-task checklist items in there and integrate them into our work breakdown structure so that they'll populate within the Gantt chart. Now, the importance of those are, that's our safety net to make sure our crews have what they need before they start a series of tasks. So you can actually pop that open in your office or on site, and you can take a look and you can see if those things are checked off. If they're starting a series of tasks and they haven't checked off their entire pre-task checklist for that sequence of tasks, then you know that they're going to run into a roadblock somewhere along the way, right? So you want to make sure that all of those things are covered, and sometimes on site they don't always consider all of those things, like specialty tools and equipment and subcontractors and inspections. So by creating that checklist for them, they can go through there and check them off item by item. They have plenty of advanced notice by being able to look at the Gantt chart that they're going to have to take care of these items and get them on site. So everything should happen, should be able to happen in a timely fashion before they start that sequence of tasks, right? The next thing that'll happen or should happen will be to assign start dates to each one of these tasks. And that's going to generally be determined if you're a subcontractor by the general or prime contractor's baseline schedule, probably the same schedule that's in your contract that you agreed to follow. There should be slots in there for you to complete your work. So you're just going to build your master schedule off of the time slots allotted to you in the baseline schedule. And, you know, once that's done, then you're ready to start your work. Okay, from here, we're going to use the Gantt chart to create rolling schedules for our crews. We'll assign tasks to individual workers or crews of workers. It's just a matter of point and click. The master schedule tells them the order that the tasks need to be built in. It tells them what crew size they need based on estimate data. And all they have to do is point and click to assign those tasks to individual workers or crews of workers. Very simple deal. And then from that point, everyone on that job site should know what their responsibilities are and how much time they have to complete them. And in order to hold them accountable, we're going to have them record their time against those tasks so we can see, you know, here's what the estimate said should happen. Here's what happened on site. And the beauty of this, and this is probably the most powerful part of this process, is that when you tell people exactly what you want them to do, and you have a detailed material list, so you're sure that material is there on site, and you tell them exactly how much time they have to install it, things just happen. They just get done. People get it done. You know, the biggest problem on construction sites is, you know, everyone gets assigned work to do, but no one gets a time frame for completing it, because these managers on these sites don't know how long it should take to install that material other than their own gut feeling. And there's a lot of variable conditions on a construction site, that sometimes aren't taken into account. It's been my experience that if you're tracking your historical data and updating your estimating process as you go along, adjusting it, these time frames that come out through the estimate are very, very realistic. And when you start putting them in front of people, things just magically start happening on time. And that's when you start creating a profitable project. And this process will it'll close that circle for you, because it will give you that data back after the project, so that you can find your weaknesses or your strengths in your estimate, where you can cut costs, where you need to add costs. You'll be able to track that and create some really strong historical data for future projects. Okay, now I've got some bad news for you, and here it is. You don't live in a perfect world, and neither do I. There's a learning curve to every process, and you got to push past that learning curve to really enjoy the benefits. And this system and this software is no different. But I will promise you this: if you will just keep following the process. On your first project, for example, you may get behind on entering time or, assigning tasks. Well, as soon as you get a minute, get right back into it. Start over, assign those tasks, and track that time. If you will do that, I guarantee you that even though it's not going to be the best run project with this process or this software, it will still be your best run project. Okay? So I understand when you're learning processes and you kind of drop the ball, pick that ball back up right in the middle of your project and start running it down the field again. The more you can incorporate this into your project, the more successful it's going to be. And anybody who does this and doesn't get that result is welcome to come back here and tell me I'm full of beans. Okay, that's how strongly I know, because I've been through this process. I invented it, I put it together, I built it. And I know that the more you apply it on your project, the more successful you're going to be. Okay, now I'm going to wrap this up, and I want to close by telling you what you can expect. And I am definitely speaking from experience here. I have been using this system, for 30 years. I've been using the software product for 10 years. And, normally when people learn this process and they have access to the software, they're excited to give it a try. And I will tell you from experience, getting a company's buy-in is a mixed bag. Generally, the people who are at the top of the company, who watch the dollars, are generally receptive to it. The people in the field, they don't want change. And so, as you bring this process in, Sometimes there's some conflict there between the office and the field. And, to varying degrees. I've worked for companies where the office was really excited and the field did everything that they could to torpedo it and, make sure it didn't happen. So be ready for a little resistance there. My advice to you is, here's what I do with companies. I introduce them to it before I build a project for them, and a lot of times I get poo-pooed. It's, no, we're not going to do that. We have our own processes. And so here's what I do. I use it in the background. I don't tell them I'm using it. And pretty soon they start seeing results that they're not accustomed to. And then they come to me and say, wow, this is, we're really having some smooth operations here. And what are you doing? How's this, how are you making this happen? Then I show them my data, remember when I told you, before we started the project, how you ought to manage it, and you poo-pooed that, and now I'm doing it anyway behind your back. And here's the results I'm getting, and I can show them to you every step of the way, task by task, and then they go, wow. And what really sells it is the customer, because those customers, whether they are owners or if they're a prime or general contractor, they are looking for people to partner with that can make things happen when they're supposed to happen. And they notice right away. And generally by the second project, I am being asked to use my system and my software over other products. I did a $6 million solar project for a company back in 2015, I think, somewhere around there. And of course, they poo-pooed my process, and I did it anyway. The reason they poo-pooed it is because their customer didn't want me to do it. They wanted me to use, I think it was a Microsoft project. And I did it in the background, and both of them were very impressed by the end of that project. And the next $5 million project I did for both of them, they let me use my stuff over what they had traditionally used, which was either Primavera or Microsoft Project. And I've done several projects for them now. They welcome me to use my system because it gets them the results that they're looking for. And at the end of the day, they don't really ultimately care. In the beginning, they think this is the only way we're going to have control of our project. But when you show them a different way and it works, all of a sudden they'll buy into it, and they're happy to let you use your system. So I just wanted to make the comment that you're probably going to hit some resistance. The way to overcome that is to turn in a smooth running, profitable project, and this system will do that for you. And once they see it happen, I guarantee you're not going to have any more resistance. It's just happened to me time after time after time. I have to butt heads up front. But once I complete a project and they see the benefits, it's all about, you run that project the way you want to run it. And thank you very much. So I hope this has been a good learning experience for you. I'd love to hear some feedback from you. I appreciate you all coming along for the ride. And man, if I can help you in any way, just don't be afraid to reach out to me through my website. Just shoot me an email and I'll help you out any way I can. Thanks a lot. For those of you that don't know, I am currently offering a 12-day challenge, is what I'm calling it. It is a series of videos that will teach you the skills you need to manage projects better, to become a foreman, and to become a successful foreman. The goal is to help you develop your skills so that you can climb the ladder of success and make more money. If you'd like to join that, all you need to do is surf over to my website, estimateguard.com. Come down to this button right here and just click on it. It'll pull up a form. Give me your email address and your name so I know where to send the videos. Once you do that, just click yes, let me in. What will happen next is it will automatically send you an email and say, hey, thanks for signing up for the free foreman training. And please verify your email. I need you to verify your email because I do, like everyone else, get a lot of spam and bots and stuff like that. So if you'll just verify your email, then the system will know it is a valid email. It'll start sending you a video every day for 12 days of free training. At the end of that training, you'll have a good understanding of everything I think you need to know to start managing projects. Now, if you're like me, I'm very reluctant to give anyone my email because then I get spammed with a bunch of stuff. I'll just tell you that I'm really not that sophisticated. I don't send things out every day and whatever. One thing I will do, however, is I have been working on an advanced foreman class. So this free foreman teaches you all the skills that you need in order to be a good foreman, in my opinion. So the advanced foreman training then takes all of that information and shows you step by step how to use it and how to implement it on a real project, and just start putting all of those skills into use. So what I was getting at is I'm getting very close to having that completed. Once I do, I will send you an email at your email address and just say, hey, I've completed that course. It's ready to go. If you'd like to sign up, here's how you can do it. So I will stay in contact with you as I develop more material and can offer it to you. But other than that, I'm not a big marketing guy. I'm just an electrician like you. So anyway, if you'd like that free training, head over to my website, estimateguard.com. Click on the button, shoot me your email. We'll get you plugged into an automated system, and it'll send you a video every day for 12 days. Thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate all of you.